I certainly don't experience myself as a sex symbol, and I don't think I've experienced anything that would lead me to believe that that's the case. Sadly, but I don't feel famous. Fame is a funny word, and there's a lot about celebrity culture. There's a lot about fame that I find quite absurd. And I think the weird thing, for me anyway, the way I experience fame is you do what you're doing normally every day, and you keep working at it, and then somebody asks you one day, what does it feel like to be famous? And you have no answer for it because you don't feel any different.
Take me to church, I worship like a dog at the shrine of your life.
I was very surprised by the success, I have to say. Very pleasantly surprised. But, it was never, I never thought that it would really work on the landscape of kind of popular radio, and certainly or that it would chart as it has done in a lot of places around the world. So very surprised, but thrilled. I think at that stage with those songs, I knew that they were going to be my first release, and all I wanted to do was just be honest with the music. I wanted to have a hand in its production as much as possible, and I thought that it might have been appreciated by a very small audience. And for me, I thought it was kind of just my first foot in the door with releasing music. I thought it would be, I'd have a much kind of slower, kind of steadier career, but I never expected the song to kind of blow up as it did. I wouldn't describe myself as a religious person growing up. I mean, I certainly explored faith through organized religion at times, but I think a lot of the use of religious imagery and religious language comes from, in some ways, an influence from blues and gospel music, and in other ways, I suppose, just an Irish vernacular. So in the Irish language, and certainly kind of the Irish vernacular, God is something that very much hangs in the air quite a bit. And I think that kind of comes into it too. And with something like Take Me to Church, I think in a way it was trying to use the language of the church somewhat against itself, or trying to express how in some ways a language can be, or a culture, let's say, or an ideology can be so pervasive or so all-encompassing that the only way to express yourself, sometimes against that, is to use its own language, and such in that way a language can be oppressive in and of itself. The song certainly references the Catholic Church, yeah, and I make no bones about that. So, the song is about sex, and the song is about sexuality, and I think when you have something like sexuality that is so intrinsically important and fundamental to the human experience, I think when you've doctrine from any organization that kind of speaks about how one should and should not love, I think you're fundamentally undermining the human experience, and you're fundamentally undermining a very serious aspect of humanity, and that's certainly what the song reels against, yeah.